Hi there. Welcome to my interactive discussion on periodic versus perpetual cost flows for inventory calculation. Please read these pages in your textbook, and when you've completed that, return to your student handout and turn to page 3. We're going to calculate periodic and perpetual methods while viewing the podcast together. I'm going to use a format that's a little different than one perhaps you've used before for perpetual, but it will work nicely. For sure you've used it on periodic. We'll use this in all examples. We'll take our beginning inventory and add it to our purchases. Of course, we'll have to break that out. To get total available, subtract ending inventory and use that to calculate cost of goods sold. It's a very efficient way to do it. Let's get started. Let me draw your attention to how it's going to work. Periodic is always going to be in the left-hand column. Perpetual is always going to be right, and we're always going to use the same set of facts. We'll start with specific ID periodic, then do specific ID perpetual, compare a little bit, and move on. Notice I'm using the format beginning inventory plus purchases. Here's your beginning inventory. You have 3 purchases. This is your total available. In units, you have 55 in dollars, 59.90. You have ending inventory of 12 units, which means 55 minus 12, you must have sold 43. And our job is to split the 59.90 between ending inventory for the balance sheet and cost of goods sold for the income statement. When you do specific ID, which we're going to do first, you need to know either what was sold or what's left. And I've given you ending inventory. Notice you have 6 units from the 817 purchase, so that's 6 units at $115 each. And you have 6 units from the 828, so that's 6 units at $119 each. That means everything else was sold. Go ahead and do the math of that. 6 times 115 plus 6 times 119, and you'll find that that equals 1404 in ending inventory. So your total available is 59.90. Your ending inventory is 1444, and that means that your cost of goods sold is the difference, or 45.86. You could prove that by listing everything that's gone, realizing what was sold and what remains, but it's just as easy to do it that way, especially on specific ID. If you did it for perpetual, you'd find you have the same thing. You still have 6 units left from August 17th, and you still have 6 units left from the last purchase. If you total that number and add it together, it's still going to be 1404. Nothing's changed. So 59.90 minus 1404 gives you a total of 45.86. Notice it's the same. It doesn't matter if you do periodic or perpetual with specific ID, you will get the same. Let's move on to FIFO now. And the first one we're going to do is FIFO periodic. Remember, it's done at the end. Periodic is always done at the end. You go out and you count, and you have 12 units. 55 minus 12 means you've sold 43. I'm going to do what the name says. The first in's the first out. So the first ones out are 10 at 91, and then 15 at 106. We're now up to 25, and then I need to get to 43. I don't need all of this 20. I just need to get from 25 to 43. So I'm going to use 18 of those, meaning 2 of those left, and 18 of those are gone. So 18 at 115 is gone. What remains is 2 at 115 and 10 at 109. Now or 119. Let's get that right. 119 on that last one right there. So you can add up these, or you can add up these. I think it's faster to add up these. 2 times 15 plus 10 times 119 gives you a total of 1420. 59.90 minus 1420 is cost of goods sold of 45.70 under FIFO periodic. Now let's quickly do FIFO perpetual. And although it happens a little different because it happens along the way, it's pretty much the same numbers. Notice we have his cell on 814 and we have his cell right here. So we have to calculate it. We sold 20 units on 814. So the first stuff in is the first stuff out. And we've sold 10 at 91. We need to get to 20, so we're going to have to sell 10 of those at 106. If we sold 10, then 5 of those are left. 15 minus 10 is 5. Then we buy some more on 817 and 828. We have another sell on 831 of 23 units. Those 5 at 106 are the first to go, and we need to get to 23, so we need 18 more. 18 of these will be gone, which means 2 are left. So we're going to sell 18 at 115, and we'll have 2 left at 115, and we'll have 10. The remaining 10 are still there. Haven't touched that layer at 119. And now you can do this or this. I like to do the shorter one, ending inventory. 2 times 115 is 230. 10 times 119 is so 1190. 2300 and 1190 is 1420. So ending inventory is 1420. Total available minus ending inventory gives you 4570 for your cost of goods sold. So notice, it's the same as when you did periodic FIFO. Periodic and perpetual FIFO will give you the same numbers, but don't get too used to that because it just ended. Let's move on to LIFO periodic. Remember, LIFO's done at the end. So if you had 55 units and you sold, or you have 12 left, you know by definition you sold 43. All right, which 43 did you sell? Well, the last stuff in's the first stuff out. So the first stuff out in this case would be 10 at 119. That's 10. There's 20 at 115. Now you have 30 sold. And to get to 43, you need 13 more. So you sold 13 of those at 106. And if you sold 13 of those, then you have 2 left. So you have 2 at 106, and you have 10 at 91. It's a little loud around me. You can hear my coworkers talking and playing in the hall. Hope that's not too distracting. Back to the topic. Ending inventory, 2 at 106 and 10 at 910 will give you a total of ending inventory of 1122 if you use LIFO periodic. 5990 minus 1122 is 4868 for cost of goods sold. Let's compare that to how it will come out with LIFO. LIFO perpetuals done along the way. You have a cell here and you have a cell here. You sold 20 here. The last stuff in's the first to go. So those 15 at 106 are gone. And you need to get 5 more, so you depleted some of that base layer. You depleted 5 of the base layer at 109, and 5 are left. Excuse me, those are at 91. Let's write 91 there. So you have 5 at 91, and then you buy 20, and then you buy 10. The last stuff in's the first to go, and we have another cell of 23, which means those 10 are gone. So you have 10 at 119 gone, and you need to get to 23, so you need to deplete some of this. We need to get to 23 with this. So we'll sell 13 of those. That will leave 7, and we'll sell 13. We'll sell 13 at 115, and we'll have 13 at 115 left. So we have our 7. Yikes. 7. There you go. at 115 left. 7 left, 13 gone equals 20. So you have 7 at 115 and you have 5 at your 91. 7 times 115 plus 5 times 91 equals 1260. 59.90 minus 1260 leaves a cost of goods sold of 47.30. Notice that there is not symmetry anymore between the two methods. LIFO periodic and LIFO perpetual are different. We have one more example now, weighted average, and the first weighted average that we'll do will be periodic. To me, this is the easiest of all, though sometimes it puzzles students. I take my total available inventory and divide it by the total number of units I have available. That's pretty simple, isn't it? And it gets you down to a per unit cost of 108.90, and that's all you needed. So 12 units are left at 108.90, and 43 units were sold at 108.90. Getting one number is about as easy as the other in this case, but we'll stay with our plan. 12 times 108.90 is 1307. Under the weighted average periodic, you have 1307 in ending inventory. That might take that away from 59.90, and you'll have 46.83 in cost of goods sold. Now let's move on to the one that might be a little more difficult because you have to do that calculation as many times as you have cells. I like to do it whenever I have a cell. There's a cell right there, and there's a cell right there. So at that point, I need to know my weighted average cost since I'm doing the perpetual method. Let's go first to calculating our weighted average for that first cell. We have $910 in our numerator plus $1,590. That's how much we have in inventory right now. How many units do we have? Well, we have 10 plus 15. You can get those numbers from right here. 10 at 91, 15 at 106. If you do the math and divide it out, you'll see that that equals a cost of $100 per unit. So when I sold 20 units are gone at $100 per unit. And notice that makes sense for these prices. It's got to be somewhere between 91 and 106. It also means that 5 are left, and it no longer has that detail. It's 5 at 100, and so our amount that's left is 500. Then we have 2 more purchases. 5 at 100, 5 at 100 each. Then we have 20 at 115, then 10 at 119. So we have 5 at 100, so we'll put $500 here. And then we have the 2,300 from our second purchase. Need to get that in. And then we have our 1190 from our third purchase. So I'm just calculating how much in total cost I have. Now let's go back for the numbers. There were 5 at 100. There was 20 at 115. And then there was 10, picking up these numbers right here, 5, 20, and 10. Go ahead and divide that out, and you see that the average cost per unit is now $114. So the second 23 that we sold was at $114, and we have 12 of them left at $114. So we had 12 left, we sold 43. 12 times 114 says we have $1,368 left in ending inventory. $59.90 minus $13.68 says your cost of goods sold must have been $46.22. I don't have time or room in this quick little video to do too much of a comparison, but you can see that the weighted average also gives a different number.